Hi, Kita. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's really wet and rainy here today.
Yeah, it's raining too. I was wondering, do you have any saris that I could cut up and use?
What do you need them for?
Like when I really started thinking about this like dark skin stuff was after I actually started modeling for like a sari company and then this like pretty famous photographer in the south of India.
Yeah.
And she really likes dark skin models, and like until then it was pretty much your family being like, oh, you can't wear these colors, or like I don't know, just your grandma just like scrubbing the shit out of you. But
Yeah.
after that, when people started like looking at my photos and like commenting like, oh, like the skin is super nice, the colors suit really well, and people started bringing out features that I wasn't really aware of. That's when I really started getting into it because it made me feel better just about like what I look like. I think it was very clear to me that a lot of the high fashion models were like dark skinned and a lot of the commercial models were like lighter skinned. And that's not necessarily because one is better than the other, but just culturally we've been our communities have been taught, I guess, that uh, lighter skin means that you're more educated or you're richer. So if you had money, right?
Yeah.
If you had money and if you were educated, you could sit inside and you just like
You
didn't get dark.
tan, yeah.
So it was almost like a sign of prosperity, and I think that's where it originated from. But it sort of like devolved into this thing that like, just if you come off intellectually a certain way if you're not a certain color. And I think I see that in India too. Like when I have to go a bunch for research.
Yeah.
And certain parts of India especially will definitely like look at you differently just because you are a different color or you're not even toned or whatever it really is.
Yeah, I think I've always felt myself as being like a more Americanized Indian, not being able to fluently speak and being born here. And so then I used to shun things like Indian films because I felt like I couldn't see myself in that sphere, both aesthetically and like deeper than that. And I always kind of like looked down on like industries such as Bollywood that would only employ like North Indians or super North Indian looking South Indians.
Yeah.
And now I feel like the American film industries are incorporating more colored people that I feel like fits in more with me than still the Bollywood industry.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree about that. We grew up, I have a twin sister, and we grew up with our grandparents for a bit, so they just taught us Telugu first.
Yeah.
And just, watching Telugu movies was like a thing to do with. But I think that's why, like, I think it became even more confusing because I wasn't able to totally get away from it because, all of our family friends were Indian, and we were really close to like grandparents, and we have like close cousins who are back, we're in touch with in India.
Were you ever aware of skin color in general growing up and like today?
Yeah, I feel like it's something that you definitely notice. Like, I mean, I grew up in Minnesota, just in like the whitest suburb. I went to a private school where I was the token brown kid and minority. Yeah, I feel like in high school I almost went through this crisis because I knew I like stood out because of my skin tone, but I guess this fear of being different. And so I feel like in high school I kind of overcompensated a little bit by, I guess, trying to act more like white or American or just show that like I'm the same as everyone else.
When I was growing up, you didn't, for somebody to be beautiful, they had to be light skinned and they were beautiful, no matter how their features are. If they're fair, they're considered beautiful.
When you were growing up?
Yeah.
Did that affect how you like raised two daughters?
I think over here it was different because I realized, like, being Indian, you're perceived as dark skinned, whether you're fair or dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to a non-Indian, we're all dark. So they didn't really see the shades of darkness.
But still the Indian community does.
Yeah, the Indian community does. There are a lot of things in the Indian community that you just have to ignore. And in India, when they look, you know how they have arranged marriages, and you see how they describe the brides to be as they want somebody light-skinned, fair-skinned, and there are all these skin creams to lighten your skin. That's
Fair and lovely.
fair and lovely. It's a huge market in India.
A lot of home remedies for getting
Turmeric.
getting lighter. Yeah, turmeric and then whatever that sand stuff is. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's called like sunipindi, but basically it's like the texture of sand. They mix it with like a little bit of water.
It's like an exfoliator.
Yeah, it's just an exfoliant, and they just like keep on rubbing your arms and like I don't know, buddy. I've been rubbing away for many years.
Did they give that to you when you were in India?
When I was like younger, yeah, like you would just like go to the
sounds
like
painful.
backyard and like a towel, and then your grandmother would just like rub you back and forth.
Oh my gosh.
Like just seeing pictures of yourself, like I remember just feeling more beautiful in the winter, like when I was less tan. And like in the summers, especially because I would like play tennis or just be outside all the time, like I was so dark. And like I remember I feel like I would get less compliments from people just in general. Like maybe that was true, maybe it wasn't, but it's like it was definitely something I felt.
But I remember like when in the summers when we would go to India, and I wouldn't want you guys to go out in the sun and go sweating because you would get tanned even more before our trip to India.
And why wouldn't you like that?
I don't know, I didn't want all the relatives saying stuff to us.
What things would they?
Oh, like, oh,
Say.
your kids are so dark and
And like, whenever we would go to India, like my sister and I played tennis like very competitively throughout middle school and high school, and we played really well. Like I was like ranked like top 10, and in New England, and we would, you know, our house was like filled with trophies. But then when relatives would come and stuff, they'd be like, "Oh, you've gotten so dark," and I'm like, how about all of these things that I've done? Like,
It's wild.
which honestly, I guess in their culture it makes sense because in India, a lot of the like, at least in my community in South India, a lot of the girls don't play sports because they're told they have to sit inside so they don't get dark. So like that's why if they do play sports, it's like, or it's dance because you dance inside, and that's about it. And I think it's not that it's like actively limiting girls from doing, being athletic, but I think that is one of the large
That you have to think
reasons.
about aesthetics before